You guys will have to forgive me if my voice gets a little weird. I've had like a terrible sickness over the last week, but we're back in business today. We're back in the office, and I really wanted to get this podcast out today because I think I have some important stuff to share with everybody. So, 2 weeks ago, I did a podcast. Hopefully, you guys listened to it. That was the week 1 podcast. We are calling this the week 2 podcast. And for most of you, this was your first full week on the job, which is awesome. Guys, I don't think a lot of you understand how truly special it is what we've done this year. We have a group of sales reps, a group of leaders, a group of rookies, a group of all of us who decided that we want more in 2024. We're tired of just the status quo. We want to go above and beyond. We want to do extra. And so everyone, well, maybe not everyone watching this, but most of you watching this are doing extra this year. You're doing more. Okay, the normal, like regular season for active sales pest control is like mid to end of April till the end of August. And in all my years doing the job, that's all I ever did. This year, we said, let's push the envelope. Let's get out early. Let's do extra. Let's go above and beyond. Let's go bigger. Okay, and that's what we've done. We have like 150 plus sales reps that worked for us last week. Okay, March 17th to the 24th. We'll have over 150 sales reps that knocked a door in the month of March that are doing extra. Extra brings incredible rewards. So I'm really, really proud of each of you, and I have a couple stories to illustrate this point, but I'm really proud of each of you for going above and beyond, for answering the call, for wanting more, for trying to go bigger than the status quo, for doing the hard thing. It doesn't go unnoticed. Sincerely, like really proud of and grateful for each of you and your efforts. This job isn't easy, but when you're surrounded by a group that always wants to do more, that always wants to work harder, that always wants to push, it gets easier and it gets fun and it becomes kind of like a game. So, and again, you'll have to forgive my voice a little bit. I'll probably cough some during this podcast. I have a few items of business and things that I want to go over. I have a couple little stories, and then I have a lot of stats to share, and then I have some advice. And if you guys need anything in particular, if you want anything out of these podcasts, feel free to comment or text me or DM me or message me on Pronto. I always love the feedback. I want to help wherever I can help. So, liquid energy. First of all, maybe the most exciting thing from this last week, our partnership crushed $1 million in revenue. We blew past it. We're actually over $1.5 million in revenue now. We'll hit $2 million in revenue this week. Insane. We'll get to the point where we're doing over $1 million in revenue every single week, but the fact that it's mid-March and we're over $1 million is nuts. If you think about that, that is a lot of money. We have sold over $1 million worth of pest control already. You guys are a part of something big. It's not a small operation. We're not slinging, $100,000 in pest control revenue and calling it a day. We're already over $1 million. This group should do $30 million in revenue this summer. Hold me to it. Mark my words. Bookmark this. $30 million in revenue during 2024. I really believe it. Another super exciting thing, we have Lance Bracken, who just hit $100,000 in total service revenue. Congratulations, Lance. Guys, last year at this time, Aptiv had exactly 0 sales reps over 100K. We have Lance Bracken that hit it last week and John Martin who should hit it this week. So major congratulations to Lance for getting out early. Lance did a couple blitzes. Lance obviously was knocking in February. He's over 100K. It's the first of many, many benchmarks. Lance only did 200K last year. He graduated high school and came out. He's already more than halfway there. It's seriously remarkable what hard work and effort can bring. And I think maybe the most inspiring part of Lance's story, maybe the coolest part of this journey, is what's to come. From what I've seen, Lance is somebody who goes all in and really, really commits to things. And that's a powerful skill set. That's a powerful ability because he's going to continue getting better and better at door-to-door sales, at selling pest control, at holding himself accountable, at working the hours. He's going to continue improving. And the fact that he's already at where he is seriously really, really cool. John will hit 100K this week, like I said. John is someone who, if you came to kickoff, you heard his story. He's one of the guys that I love the very most, one of the people who I believe in the very most. So congratulations to John on that big benchmark. We have multiple guys, and we'll have even more this week, who are at or above 50K in revenue. Okay, that's obviously a huge milestone, a huge benchmark. And to hit that in late March is impressive. So shout out to each of them. Okay, now some more just like stat things. And I'm actually going to pull this up on my phone. Okay, so Mitch will put this up here in the cloud so you guys can look at it with me. We are the elite partnership. We serviced more than 2 times as much revenue as anybody else in the company last week. So that's what I'm saying. We're doing extra. It is so inspiring. It gets me so hungry. It gets me so pumped. Mark was out there last week knocking with guys. Ryan's out there this week knocking with guys. I'm going to fly out probably next week and knock with guys. Like, we are all doing extra. Each of you is out in March working your butt off. We're doing more than anybody else. We had 135 sales reps get a sale. We serviced nearly $700,000 in total pest control revenue. That's awesome. Our service CV per rep, 5,132. So that means on those 135 guys that got a service, the average did $5,132 in revenue. That's really, really good. If you extrapolate that over the whole summer, that will put our per rep average right at like $90,000 in revenue. Now, that's really good, but it's not quite good enough. I want us to get that number up to 8, 9, even 10,000. And I think we're going to get there because all of our first year reps are going to continue to improve. They're going to hit that learning curve. They're going to ramp up. They're going to start doing better and better and better. All of our team leaders will also have more time to knock. They'll obviously start producing more. But 5,132 is really good. You guys can see some of the other partnerships like Drip, for example, their per rep average was 9,210. Now, they only had 24 reps out. So the likelihood is they had the vast majority just experienced reps or team leaders, very few, if any, rookies. That's how their per rep average was so high. But shout out to them. That's remarkable. And that's where I want all of us to get. And you'll see, we'll track this, so I'll talk about it next week as well. We'll likely see that 5,132 turn into like 5,500 to 6,000 for the week 3 podcast. And then it'll turn into 6,000 to 6,500. And then 6,500 to 7,000. So it'll continue just ramping up little by little as the summer goes on. Our average contract value was $921. Now, this one I'm proud of, but I also want to softly call everybody out. You can see we're the second lowest out of all the different partnerships. So Alpha had a 942. Origin had a 909. They're the lowest. Prime had a 1,043. Drip had a 1,000. Collective only had one sale, but it was a $1,200 sale. So 921 is good. I know all of us are in Texas. All of us are in Florida right now. Some of those Midwestern markets that we're all moving to for the actual summer will typically have a little bit higher CV just naturally, just organically. It's a little bit easier to sell bigger accounts in those markets. But even in Texas, all these other partnerships are also in Texas right now. So even in Texas, we can bump this up to over $1,000. Drip at $1,000 exactly. Prime at 1,043. They're both exclusively in Texas right now. So we can do it. One of the keys, and I talked about this last week, is mosquitoes. So we only had 33.7% of our accounts as mosquito contracts. I talked about this last week. You should be pushing that on every single door. And if you get to the end of the pitch and you're too low on pricing, try upselling mosquitoes. Okay, it's a very, very valuable addition, and that's how you're going to be able to get that contract value up higher. Prime, who had a 1,043 CV, had like 50% of their contracts as mosquito contracts. So that's really the difference there that we're working with. We just have to sell more mosquito accounts. And then the other part of this, and I talked about this last week, and I'll talk about it every week. The other way we can get our average contract value up from 921 to over 1,000, which is ultimately our goal, is selling no basics. Okay, 0 basics. We sold 14.1% of our accounts as basics last week, and then we had like 85% of our accounts as Pro or Pro Plus, and then like 1% is premium. I'm really happy with that 1% is premium. The 14.1% is basics is good, but there is room for improvement there. I say zero basics. I understand once in a while you're going to need one. You're going to have a really hard switchover who just wants a quarterly service, who doesn't want to pay more. I know it happens, okay? But if you're pitching this the right way, if you're selling the service correctly, if you're really building value with what we do, I truly believe that we can get that basic percentage under 10%. I'd love to see it at 5%. And I think that's a lofty goal, but I think it's possible. I think a lot of this also starts with our experienced sales reps, okay? Our guys who produce the most revenue this summer, our guys who hit Golden Door this summer are going to be focusing on Pro Plus, and Premium, and they will sell very few, if any, basic accounts. They just don't add up as quick. So focus on mosquitoes, focus on Pro Plus, and Premium, and that is how we'll be able to get our contract value from 921 to up over 1,000. Okay, sales to service ratio. We did pretty good. We had an 82.3% service to sales ratio. I want to see this closer to 90% as the summer goes on. It's typically lower right now this time of year because we have guys learning to navigate the contract, both sales reps and service pros. Okay, we have guys not explaining things perfectly. Then the service pro comes in, explains the welcome letter, creates some friction with the customer. Customer ends up canceling before the service. We'll see that improve up to 90% as the summer goes on, but be cognizant of it. Some of you, and I'm going to call some of you out individually here in a little bit, some of you were way above that, some of you were way below it. If you're below 80% service to sales ratio, it means you're not being transparent enough, or you're not priming the customer well enough for what the service pro is going to go over in that welcome letter. It means you're not explaining things, or maybe you're throwing one-leggers on the account or on the route, okay? We have to have efficient, clean, good, rock-solid routes this summer. It hurts everyone in the partnership if our routes are inefficient. If I could have filled the same day, but Johnny filled it with a sketchy one-legger who didn't understand that it was an agreement, and that person's going to end up canceling, that hurts me because same days typically will get serviced more often, and I'll end up getting paid on it sooner, better, faster, more frequently. So that hurts me if Johnny's putting sketchy accounts on the route. Okay, it hurts the rest of the team because that's the same day that we lost out on. Forgive me. I was like bedridden yesterday, so my voice is a little bit weak. But it hurts everybody. So we want all of our sales reps over 80% right now, and our goal is 90% service to sales. Same day percentage, and this is a big part of why we're at 82.3 and not higher. We're at 27.5, which is good. That's not bad. But as the summer goes on, I want our same day percentage at 50%. By getting our same day percentage from 27.5 up to 50, we'll see like a 5 to 7% improvement in that service to sales ratio overall. And the reason for that is people have less time to get buyer's remorse. Okay, if I sign someone up at 4 o'clock and they get serviced at 6, they're way more likely to actually get serviced versus if they have to wait until the next day at 6 o'clock. Okay. Next day sales are not bad. My first 8 years at Aptiv, that's all we ever did. We never did same days. Same day services are incredible because they're so much more likely to go through. You're still knocking on the same street. You can go back and talk to the customer if need be. You're still, right there. They're still hot. They're still excited. They're still feeling good. Like you just gave them a home run deal. They didn't have, time to think, do I really need pest control? That guy, he reminded me, we have tons of ants, but it's actually been a few weeks since I've seen the ants. They don't have time to have those kind of buyer's remorse, emotions that leads to people canceling prior to the service. So same days are paramount. They are incredibly important. Guys, I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm just going to be honest. We need more service pros in our partnership. I think right now we've hired 19. I would love to double that. I would love to have 30, 40, 50 service pros working hand in hand with our sales reps. And this is something that benefits the teams. It's something that benefits the company. It's also something that benefits the sales rep. If you've done this job now for 3 weeks and you're like, dude, I freaking love this group. I love this crew. I want to work hard. I want to keep learning these things, but I've only made one sale. You're 3 weeks in. Maybe looking at Service Pro this first year is a good option. Okay. Our service pros make fantastic money. Okay. Fantastic money. In a lot of situations, our best service pros will make more than a lot of our sales reps because of the bonuses and the structure and the setup and things like that. So being a service pro is a huge, huge opportunity. So we'll talk more one-on-one and things like that, but we need service pros. If you have tried your hardest and you've done this for at least 3 weeks and it's just not working, maybe that's an option and you really should think about it, and let's have a conversation. We need like 20 plus more service pros, and I would love to see them come from this group because you guys have already taken the gamble. You've already taken the risk. You've already tasted the incredible opportunity that this is. A lot of our service pros who work with us as service pros for 1, 2, 3 years end up buying real estate with us. They're still like, they're a part of everything. It's like a close-knit family. So we need service pros really bad. Service pros are incredible, and that will help us get our same-day percentage up. Now, last knock, and I'm super proud of this one. So every Monday at 11, I have a partners call, and we go over these stats with Tosh and Donnie and Kyle and Chase and all the other partnerships. And our group has been getting some major kudos. And I talked to you guys about this last week, and I'm going to talk about it every single week. Okay, we may not be the best looking group. I think we are. We may not be, the flashiest, the most athletic. Who knows? All these things, they're up for debate. One thing that I can say with 100% conviction, one thing that we can prove to be factual, okay, not an opinion, we are the hardest working group. We are the group that puts in the most effort, that shows up day in, day out. All of our team leaders are that way. I'm that way. All of you sales reps are going to be that way. We will perpetually, forever be the group that works the hardest. And so far, we've done that. We're like 3 for 3 every time we've reviewed these stats. We are blowing everyone out of the water, and it's only going to get better. So you can see our average last knock was 8:17 p.m. That's really good, especially when you consider that we're in March and it still doesn't stay light that late. Now, as the summer creeps on, as you guys get more comfortable at night knocking, I'd really like to see that up to 8:45. Okay? Some of you are going to lose your minds over that. So scary. No, there is a secret to night knocking. Okay? You have to look for garages that are open. You have to look for doors that are open. You have to look for lights that are on. You have to look for cars that just got pulled in. You have to look for commotion and activity going on in the family room, in the kitchen. Those are the doors that you knock. And then you hit them with an urgency pitch. Hey, I'm super sorry to bug you. I know it's late. I'll be quick. I just have 2 spots left on my route tomorrow. I have to fill them up before I call it a night. I'm doing it for well over half off. What's half? Great question. Boom. Okay. Our sales reps, who are the very best at this job, consistently sell accounts after 8:30 and even 9 o'clock. Okay. My brother Ryan, he might be the best at this of anyone I know. And I'll have him do some trainings on it for us. I swear that guy sells half of his revenue after 8:30 and 9 o'clock. Legitimately half. Okay. And I'm going to tell a story here in a little bit and kind of illustrate how much of a difference maker one extra sale a day can really be. Excuse me. Over the course of the entire summer. Guys, if you're going to slack in the morning. Do not slack at night. Okay, after 7:30, from 7:30 to 9:30, we call that prime time. It is the best opportunity to make money. 7:30 to 9:30 every day. I can't tell you how many days over the years I actually knocked for like almost 8 summers. I knocked 7.5 summers. I can't tell you how many days I would roll into 7:30 and I'd be like, crap, I have no accounts. Crap, I have 1 account. Crap, I have 1 account that probably won't even get serviced. And then I'd sell 2, 3, 4, 5 after 7:30. The most dramatic example that I can remember, I had this sales rep named Cameron Walker. And Cameron texted me at 7:30. He's like, dude, I'm getting lit up. I don't know what it is, but I just have had the worst day ever. I think I might just call it a day. Like, I'm tired. I'm feeling beat up. I think I might just call it a day. And I remember I took a minute and I called him. I said, Cam, don't quit, dude. Like, I know it's tempting to go home and call it a day. Don't do it. That's not who you are. Don't go sit in the car. Don't go to a gas station. Don't go call your mom. Keep knocking. Like, you never know what can happen. And I just had a little hoorah conversation with him like that. I'm not joking. This is factual. Cameron went out, and from 7:30 to 9 o'clock, he sold the next 6 decision makers in a row. He went from having 0 accounts to having one of his best days of the summer and literally selling 6 in a row. And it's all because he didn't give up. It's all because he was willing to knock late. So I go through everybody's knock times. It's crazy. Some of you are knocking till like 9:30 every night. Some of you are done at 7:30. I want to challenge everybody to knock till at least 8:30. Okay? Very worst case scenario, fresh doors till 8:30. If you can stomach it, which you should be able to, you're tough, knock fresh doors till 8:45, 9 o'clock. Set a couple go backs after that. Push late. It is the best time of day. That is where you will make the most money consistently throughout the summer, is knocking later. Because you get people at home. You get people chilled out. You get people who just ate dinner. They're just relaxing. They just, they're done for the day. They don't have anything else on their to-do list. Kids are in bed. Like, that is when you sell stuff. So push late, good things will happen. And the final column, average daily DMs per rep. So we had 43.8 daily DMs per rep. That's really good. You can see we're beating everybody. We are the group that works the hardest. We are the group that puts in the most effort. That's who we are. Bang your chest. I put in effort. That's on my 3 life mantras. My 3 life mantras for myself are create, don't consume. I want to always be someone who creates but doesn't consume. I feel that way with social media. I feel that way with relationships. I feel that way with everything. Be the person who gives, not the person that takes. Okay? My second one, and this one's a little bit, maybe a little bit weird, but it has a lot of meaning for me. Memento mori, which means remember we all die. I lost Chandler's wife last year. You guys will hear more about that. But it was a real wake-up call. Life is not forever. It does end, and you don't know when. And you have to really live each day, I guess, with the knowledge that that's real. And you have to make decisions based on that. And so it's one of my life philosophies that I truly believe more than anything else is remember, we're on a timeline here, and none of us know what that timeline is. But you gotta learn to enjoy the moment. You gotta learn to enjoy the day. You gotta learn to take advantage of the opportunities that we have. You gotta love the people while you've got them. And then my third one is just simply the word effort. I don't think that I'm the most talented person. I don't think I'm the person with the most ability. I don't think I'm the smartest. But I am the person who will always show up. I'm the person who will always give effort. And I've been alive 32 years. I've been fortunate to be really successful. And I would contribute almost all of that success simply to the fact that I always show up. I'll always put in time. I'll always answer my phone. I'll always knock one more door. I'll always give effort. And I want you guys to do that too. That's our flag. Okay, the effort flag. DMs per day is an effort thing. You can knock 500 doors a day. That's effort. You can do it. You can knock 30 more doors at night when everyone quit. You can take a 30-minute shorter lunch. Has nothing to do with talent. Has nothing to do with ability. We focus a lot on accolades and success. It's oh, you're so good, blah, blah, blah. Awesome. Effort, okay? Whoever puts forth the most effort for the longest will always end up winning. When you combine talent with effort, that's when things get really scary. When you combine talent without effort, very lackluster. Okay? I'd rather have a ton of effort and no talent than the inverse. Always be the person that works hard. 43.8 daily decision makers, that's really good. I think we can get that up over 50. Mark, one of the things that he talked to me about yesterday, he was tracking it per team. And on each of his teams, he had about half of the sales reps that were over 50. And then obviously half were under. Don't be the person that's under. Be the person that sets the pace. 55, 60 a day. It's just effort. Just work harder. If you do that, good things will happen. Okay, I'm going to share some individual stats, and then we'll move on to my story. So, Mitch, this is the part where you can put the top 10 reps for the week. Coming in at number 1, Tanner Clayton, 24,606 serviced. Tanner's first week back on the doors, and he drops $25K in service revenue. Truly remarkable. One of the things that makes Tanner so dialed, so incredible, he has a 92% sales to service ratio, and 41% basically of his accounts were same date. So that's part of what I'm talking about. Tanner's knocking 44 decision makers a day. When you're selling that much, you don't have as much time to get through people. He's got a $93 average initial and a $911 overall ACV. So Tanner is someone who, I'm not using the word if here, I'm using the word will, and that's intentional. Tanner is someone who will earn a golden door this year. He's that good, and he works that hard. Okay, shout out to Tanner. Thank you for setting the bar. Andrew Myers, $18,454 in revenue. I love seeing Andrew at the top of this leaderboard because I know how many other responsibilities he also has. Andrew has like 60 reps that are out knocking right now. He's taking time to work with them. He's answering phone calls. He's answering texts, and he's leading from the front. So huge shout out to Andrew. He had 45% of his accounts as a same-day service. I love it. Remarkable. John Martin, 17,727. John's just him. Just one of those guys, just gets the job done. John, I talked to you about this privately. I'll talk to you about it more. But John only had 10% of his accounts as the same day. We get that up to 30, 40% like Andrew and Tanner. And John's right up there with the best of them. He still has revenue on the board waiting to get serviced. You can see John actually outsold Andrew, but he just is waiting for it to get serviced because he didn't have those same-day techs. So we got to get John a same-day tech. Ethan Holbrook and Lance Bracken. Ethan with 17,197. Lance with 17,054. Now, this next screenshot, Mitch, you can put this third one up now. This is our top, I don't know, I did 5 or 6 rookies. You can see Ethan Holbrook, rookie. Let's go, Ethan. I talked about this last week. I called Ethan out a little bit. The number of DMs. Ethan improved, and he serviced $17,000 last week. Wow. Rookie sales rep throwing up $17K in March. Remarkable. That's really, really good. Who thinks Ethan can break $300K this summer? I know I do. Let's see 400. Let's see 500, Ethan. Get hungry. Stay hungry. Gets me pumped. Jack with 11,000. Now, here's a crazy stat. Jack, I called you out a little bit, and we're texting right now. Let's talk about this. Jack actually outsold Ethan by $1,000. You can see he had 20,000 in sold revenue, 11,000 serviced. Jack's sales to service ratio, 61%, is not ideal. We got to work on that. We got to work on solidifying those accounts. Usually there's a few little tweaks you can make, and you'll end up servicing 80 to 85%. You'll be way happier and in a great place. So I'll text you about it, but let's get you dialed. And congratulations on a huge sales week. Andy, almost 10K. 10K gets me pumped because that means, like, at this point in the year, you're going to end over 200K. If you can do 10K a week, you're going to end over 200K. Really, probably 250K. Really, 300K because you're going to continue improving. So nice work, Andy. Gets me stoked. As I was reviewing these, one of the things that I love from almost all these top rookies, look at their average daily DMs. 46 from Jack, 41 from Andy. Their average last knock, 9:06 p.m. from Jack. That is effort at its finest. 8:51 p.m. from Andy. Effort. Incredible. Nathan Durst, 7,700. Jordan Rowley, 7,300. Jordan had, I think, 7 accounts sold yesterday. Today's Tuesday. I think he had 7 accounts sold yesterday. So Jordan is catching fire. He's going to be really, really good. And then at the bottom of that list, Spencer Richens. Spencer's a guy who came over from Solar. It's fun to see him already selling 10K, servicing 7K. Absolutely remarkable. So we love our rookies. We love our experienced reps. We're proud of the effort. Effort. Okay, that's what matters. Now, I'm going to tell a really quick story. And this story is going to be centered around effort. And it's going to have some stats in there. And then I have 3 tips, 3 pieces of advice. So I entitled this story, What Does One More Sale a Day Get You? I want to tell a story of 2 sales reps, okay? One of them does like 2 accounts a day, and he just works the normal summer. So 100 days, end of April to end of August. 100 knocking days. He gets 2 accounts a day. That's $2,000 in revenue a day because our average contract value is about $1,000. That's $200,000 in total service revenue. That's a really good summer, okay? Rep number 1, we're going to call rep number 1 Johnny. Johnny starts, April 27th, and he works until August 30th. He services $2,000 in revenue a day. Some days that means he probably sells 3 or 4. Some days that means he sells 1. Once in a while he bagels, but on average he services $2,000 in revenue a day. Johnny will have $200,000 in service revenue at the end of the summer. Based on our pay scale, he will earn a 41% commission. And that's only 2 accounts a day. You guys can all do that. That's $82,000 in potential earnings. Obviously, retention will play into it, but it's $82,000 in potential earnings and a $16,000 team leader bonus. Now, there's other bonuses on top of that. There's multi-year bonuses. There's other things like that. But that puts Johnny earning $98,000 pre-cancellation. Absolutely incredible. That's only 2 accounts a day, and that's only for the standard season. Now, I want to tell a story about sales rep number 2, and this is who all of you are, okay? And some of you are already doing this. Some of you, I got to challenge you to do a little bit more, but all of you have already started down this path. Now, sales rep number 2, rather than starting end of April and just working till end of August, he's like, hey, I'm going to get out there early. And he got out with this crew in March, the crew that does more, the elite crew, the effort crew. He was able to develop more as a sales rep because he worked earlier. He worked harder, okay? He strove to continue improving. He's the same caliber of sales rep as Johnny, sales rep number 1, but he just worked a little bit harder. And one of my tips, I'll go through this in just a minute, but one of my tips is continue doing more, okay? He continued trying to learn. And at the start of the summer, he was for sure only selling 1 or 2 a day, just like Johnny. But he continued improving. He had more time on the table, and he got better. And he got to the point where he was selling 3 accounts a day, okay? 3 accounts a day on average for the whole summer. And again, at the start, he was only at 2, but he got better and he got up to 3. So this sales rep, instead of only servicing $2,000 a day for 100 days, he serviced $3,000 a day, okay? And he knocked 125 days because he got out in March. So $3,000 a day times 125 days is $375,000 in revenue. Now, he serviced less than twice as much, and we did the math. Johnny made $82,000 pre-cancellation. At $375,000, this guy earned a 54% commission. $375,000 times 0.54. He made $202,000 in potential commissions. Obviously, retention will play into that. He made 2.5 times as much money for less than 2 times the effort, for less than 2 times the production. His ETLB also will go from 16,000 up to over 30,000 because he's producing more revenue. So 202,000 plus 30,000, he's going to potentially make 2.5 times as much as Johnny. And it wasn't that he produced twice as much revenue. He actually only produced, 150K more. So what is that? 60% more revenue, 70% more revenue. Okay, Johnny worked 100 days. Sales rep number 2, we'll call him Freddie. Freddie worked 125 days, but he just got a little bit better. This job is crazy. It blows me away. I wish I would have learned this lesson earlier. I'm glad I learned it when I did. A little bit more effort every day, a little bit more effort right after lunch, a little bit more effort early in the morning, a little bit more effort, especially at night after 8:30, when you could quit and totally justify it. You worked hard today. It was a good day, but you're willing to work for another hour. A little bit more effort, extrapolated over a full 125 days, makes a dramatic difference in income because you hit additional pay benchmarks, okay? Johnny got paid a 41%. Freddie got paid a 54%. So he made an extra 13% commission on all of that revenue that he sold. Okay, even just on the 200K, that's an extra $26,000. He earned that extra 13% commission over everything that he'd already sold. So small efforts lead to huge differences in earnings, especially when those small efforts happen early on in the summer. 1 extra account a day right now, from now till the end of the summer, 1 extra account will literally double your income. Okay, if you can go from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, you will literally double your income by getting one extra account every single day. If you can push your contract value just a little bit higher, if you can charge just a little bit more on each of those follow-up visits, if you can sell mosquitoes just a little bit more frequently, all those things, they end up making a huge difference. When I was in football, I had this coach named Coach Berger, and before every single football game, I dressed down for varsity when I was a freshman. I didn't ever play, but I got into the games once in a while. But I dressed down, and I'd hang out with the varsity kids. So from my freshman to my senior year, before every single varsity football game Friday night, our coach would play this this video from Friday Night Lights. And it's the coach in the locker room at halftime. And the coach is just begging and pleading with the players. He says, look, the inches we need are everywhere. I'll send out a link to this video. It's a good video. They're everywhere. They're in every break of the game. They're in every second, every minute. One half a step too early, one half a step too late. You don't quite catch it. No. He just talks about how life's a game of inches and so is football. And I didn't ever understand that in high school. I watched this video probably 50 times. But I don't even, what does that even mean? Like, life's a game of inches. What does that mean? It literally just means you don't have to do monumentally more to get ahead. You don't have to do 2, 3, 4, 5 times as much to get ahead. You just have to chase down those inches. And the coach says, on this team, we fight for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. And that's this group right here. We fight for that inch. Okay, this job is a job of inches. The sales rep, the rookie who finishes at the top of the leaderboard, I promise you guys, his pitch her pitch won't be that much better than yours. It'll be relatively similar. It will just be that sales rep worked a little bit harder for 125 days in a row. Trained a little bit more in the morning, trained a little bit more at night, asked a couple extra questions, did a few more pitch critiques of himself, pushed through one more smoke screen 10,000 times. Okay, knocked 5 extra doors at the end of the day 125 times. That's an extra 700 doors. Most of you will sell at least 1 in 100. Okay, right there. That's an extra 7 accounts. But you get better too. We forget that. You also get better. And so it's impossible to measure how much of a difference it really makes. This job is a job of inches. Okay, inches. 1 extra sale a day from right now until the end of the summer will double your income. That leads me to my 3 tips for this week. How do you improve? You don't improve by doing the bare minimum. You improve by doing extra. So if you want that inch, do the extra training. Read the training manual. I wish I could just get everybody to read that like 10 times. Our guys would crush it if they would just read the training manual 10 times. Just read it and apply what it says to do. Practice with your team leader. Practice with your roommates. Record your pitch on the doors and then listen to yourself. Give yourself feedback. Give yourself critiques. Train more. You don't improve really by doing the bare minimum. You improve by doing extra. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, 10% more effort can dramatically change your summer. I just gave that example, okay? If you knock 150 doors a day and someone else knocks 165 doors a day, that's only 10% more effort. Their results at the end of the summer are going to be dramatically different because the sales rep who did 165 doors a day is going to get 1 extra sale like every 2 or 3 days. 1 extra sale every 2 or 3 days is going to turn into 40, 50, 60 accounts over the course of the entire summer. That's 2 pay bumps, okay? That's a ton of extra revenue and extra commission, now extra bonuses, extra learning, extra opportunity. Okay, it's not a big difference. It's 10% more. But 10% more leads to dramatically different results. And then tip number 3, this one from the heart. Remember why you do the hard things now, okay, in order to get what you want. Remember why it's important. Remember why you signed up for this job. Remember why you want to get ahead. I remember back to my first summer. I remember back to my second summer. I remember back to my third summer. My why was really like I wanted to give my family a great life. Like I wanted to get ahead. I wanted to be able to have kids. I wanted to be able to have a wife who I could build a life with. And also like I knew that I had little brothers and a little sister and like people who I loved, and I wanted them to have a huge opportunity. And now when I see Andrew out there servicing 20K in a week, when I see Ryan leading a big region, I'm like, oh, that's super cool. Very full circle. When I look at my kids and the life that my kids get to live, it's cool. I'm so glad now that I worked so hard then. And I will be so glad in 10 years that I was willing to work so hard now. Okay? Gratification, delayed gratification is the number one predictor of success. Be willing to work harder for longer, even if you're not seeing the results, and you'll always come out on top. So remember why. For most of you, you have a really cool reason why you're working hard. Any reason is cool. Even if it's just that you want a fancy car, there's nothing wrong with that. Go get it. But remember why it's so important that you work hard in this job, and then work a little bit harder, because those things mean something. I love this group. I love what we do. I believe in us. Okay? A few flags I want us to keep this week, and I want fresh on the mind. 50 decision makers a day. Okay? Average contract value over 1,000. I want us to do $1 million in revenue this week. I think it's possible. I want to see someone break 10K in a day. I believe in it. Service to sales ratio, we're going to get that up. We need more service pros. We need them bad. I love this crew. I'll go to war with you guys. I believe in us. Let's keep getting after it. Thanks for tuning in.